wondering, right? Like, why are we here today? Like, what are you going to watch now? Right? But I think you guys have already read the description, right? So this video is all about like how to be present in an interview, how to give a first impression, how to be confident and deliver your technical and non-technical questions. Like the interviewer is going to ask you one question, you have that ability and confidence to deliver it, right? Like every time we wonder, like we always prepare ourselves for technical questions, but what happens in the interview? We get nervous or the interview plays around with us. But in this video you'll be learning how to play around with your interviewer. So this video will revolve around interviews. So our agenda for today will be like, firstly I'll be introducing myself with you all, and I'll the later part we have is all about interviews, like as I said right now. So let's start. Like I'll start with myself, like how I am and what position I am at right now. Okay guys, so I am Priya Ram and I have 5+ years of experience being an IT professional. My professional degree or my graduation is done in BSc IT. So you'll be wondering, like BSc IT in IT, like yes, after being in BSc IT also you can achieve wonders in IT. Like I do not have engineer degree, but I am proud to say that yes, I have the engineer tag. Why? Because my designation is software engineer. So as I was talking about graduation, how I completed my graduation in which stream. So yes, I was into my BSc last year and we had our college placements at that point in time. So that day was my first day of applying or giving interview in my entire life. So it was with very reputed company in one of the reputed brand in India. That is L&T Infotech. Yes, Larsen and Tabro Infotech. So in this company, like I'll tell you, since my childhood, I had the dream to be in the famous or the reputed corporate offices. So L&T was one of that company. So I was quite nervous on that day, and I was also knowing that today I'll be having 5 different rounds. So yes, that day was very long because it started from 7 a.m. ended till 8 p.m. So we had different rounds starting with aptitude test. In aptitude test, people test our analytical skills, how we analyze different question, how we tackle them in quick time, correct? Then it had next round we had was group discussion. In group discussion they test our vocabulary skill, our communication skill, how we deal with the situation, what are our thought process, how we put forth them, correct? So that is what group discussion is all about. Later it was with we had some paragraph writing, like they test our grammar, how we express ourselves in writing too, because working in corporate is not only about verbal, we should be very fluent and good in writing too. Okay, so that was the next round, continuing with the main technical round, for which we all are very scared of, right? How to prepare our technical questions. But what we need to do is be thorough with your basics, be thorough with your logics, and be confident while delivering your answers. That is foremost thing which everyone should have, right? So the next round was HR interview. Yes, in HR round, like people say that HR interview is quite simple to crack or it is nothing, it is very easy. But that is not the case. In HR interview, HR tested like, is this candidate is best fit for my company or not? My position is already checked with in my technical interview, but the candidate is fit for their company or not is being tested in HR interview. Like they ask us like, what are your aspirations? What are you looking into it? Like how you see yourself in further future, like from here, what how you see yourself in 5 years. So these are the few questions. Like we'll be talking much more detail about this in our coming minutes, like, right? So this was all about my LTI interview. So there I worked as an backup development engineer, where we had different Dell products on which we worked upon. Okay, so after that I moved to Capgemini. Why I moved to Capgemini is because of I wanted a growth in company, and I feel the starting age of every candidate, of every engineer, is to grow their self, either with compensation plus with your knowledge, right? Keep learning, keep growing, that should be the main motto, correct? So I moved to Capgemini as backup and storage, L3 escalation and development engineer, where we work upon different customer cases and different patches and iFixes and everything. We worked upon there, and there I get chance to work with Dell. We were supposed to go to proper Dell office. We played around with hardwares also, like the storage boxes itself and how it's being developed. We are like the look and feel of the hardware. You learn much more after that. So after that, I got opportunity from IBM. I got call from IBM. I was being interviewed there, and trust me, IBM's interview is one of the toughest, like till my career, I'll say it was the toughest. But when you have confidence, when you have knowledge, when you can be an asset to any company, you have that ability to crack any interview. So being in IBM, I work as an escalation and development engineer for IBM storage products, where we develop, we play around with hardware boxes, and we try to develop new things in immense area of storage, right? So this is my short story about how I immersed myself from LTI to Capgemini and currently being an IBMer. And I'll tell you one more thing, like I am the face of IBM in hiring processes. So yeah, so this is one of the benefits you'll be getting more from this video. Like if you have anything like coming up, we'll be delivering that positions to you, like if there is any references or anything, our colleagues, like you can contact our colleagues and they will get in touch with you, and you can share your resume accordingly. So let's move ahead. So our main topic for today, that is how to leave impression on interviewer, or the first question what every interviewer asks, be it technical, non-technical, managerial, anything. So that is the question is, tell me about yourself. Give a brief introduction about yourself. Talk about yourself in 2 minutes. Or these are the questions what every interview basically asks. Either you be a fresher or an experienced candidate. So, however, if you are experienced candidate, you need to talk in 5 minutes altogether. Either you have 10 years of experience or 5 years of experience. Take 5 minutes and describe your work. Describe your work journey around the JD also. The job description, what company wants, how you can be the asset to their company. Revolve your myself accordingly. So for freshers, how to prepare the myself? Look, so basically divide your myself in few parts. Like start by saying your name and mentioning that you would have already gone through my resume, but I would like to utter the same thing by myself. So like you will be telling your name, followed by what all activities you were involved in. By activity, I mean what are the small demo projects you worked on, if you have any. So as you are associated with us, so you would have worked on different projects, right? So you can give a brief description about that project. And if for example the interview is for Java development, it is for backend development, it is for web development, so you are going to revolve your words, you are going to play around with the job description. Like you will be saying, if you are a Java developer, so I have developed XYZ project in this field, and I have this project ready, and I was like if you have made that in a team, so give that example, because a company needs a team player too, so mention that thing. So this is about like how you will give an impression on any interviewer. Okay, so let's talk for experienced candidate. So how you are going to talk about yourself in an interview? So start stating the same thing, like you would have already been through my resume, but I also like to describe more apart from that. So you will be starting the foremost experience you have, your current role. Like I am in IBM, so I'll be saying the first company as IBM, and I'll give the brief description like this is my daily work, this is what I deal with, and giving the positive thing like the most experienced thing you have, or the most attractive work you do, like that you need to start with your myself, proceeding to the previous company and previous company and so on. But make sure it should not expand or exceed 5 minutes. Like your interviewer should not get bored of your myself. Okay, so prepare your myself in this way. So yes, this was the myself, like how you are going to prepare myself. But yes, I want to add one thing, like why I am focusing this, because this is the thing what interviews look after. Like you tell about what all trainings you have done, what all certifications you have done, plus what all achievements you have. Like if you are an experienced candidate, then you would have received few awards or something. If you have not received, no worries in that too. But if you have received any award like star award of the month or something, so mention that. Okay, and if you have not, then that's okay. And if you are like if you are a fresher, then you would have achieved few achievements in college or anything in any institute too, then you can mention that. Like I was rank holder in my college, I was a rank holder, or I have achieved this XYZ award from my institute. So you have to mention that like separately while you are ending your myself or briefing yourself. So yes, this were the do's of myself. So when we are talking about do's of anything, let's focus on don'ts of myself too. Like where we go wrong in interview. Like these are the checkpoints. Like yes, I want to do this, I want to do that, blah 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 blah. But now let's focus on don'ts. So many candidates start talking about I have 90% in my college. I have received 95 percentile over here and there. So no interviewer is interested in how much percentage you have. If you have that basic criteria of 60-65 percentage, that is more than enough to an interviewer to get that checkpoint. Okay, and for experience, that doesn't even count, like what was your previous exam marks or anything, right? So yeah, this is the first don't. Then second don't I will talk about is when we talk about like these are my hobbies, or these are the things which impresses me. So no interviewer is interested to learn like cricket or anything. If they ask you at that point in time, also you need to play around and tell something you like foremost. Like you like reading and you really read are different things, like, right? So if you are continual reader, then tell that yes, I like reading, because next question of interviewer can be with that question. So one more tip I will give today. Like if you want to play around with your interviewer, try to give the answer in a way that next question should be in your favor, not an interviewer's favor. Correct? Like I am giving some answer and I want it to link to the next one. Like for example, I'll give you that I am good in inheritance skill. Like inheritance in Java, I am good at that. So why I will tell this? Because I want my interviewer to ask more question in that area. Like his brain or his thinking thing should revolve around that. So these are the tricks you need to bring upon when you are giving any interview. Okay, so this were few do's and don'ts about myself. Let's move ahead to our next session of the video, right? So it is the foremost looking forward topic to be continued. So the next topic is what kind of technical questions can be asked in any interview, right? So first you have to analyze what role you are in, right? Like if you are a developer, tester, a support person, and whatever the role would be. So accordingly, like consider, I'm giving you an example of a developer or a person who are into programming. They will start from straightforward questions like, for example, what is compiler? So they will be looking out like, do you even know what is compiler? Once you gave the answer like what exactly is compiler, then next question will be associated with your previous question. So once you gave your answer for compiler, now the next question would be, for example, they will ask you, this is the error code. This is the event code. What I can see in my program, I know I'm getting that compiler error. So what you are getting out of it, like what you are able to find, like what exactly the error defines. So that you need to define over there. Okay, so let's move ahead with our set of questions which I'm going to describe today, which will be helpful in your upcoming interviews. So let's start with simple one. So they will ask you to write few codes like so your implementation, your logic implementation can be run from that. They're not going to check what syntax error you're actually going to do, but how logically good you are. Many people check syntax too, but most of them focus on logic, like how you are going to build. For example, they can ask you to write code for Fibonacci series. They can ask you to write code to find if the given string or the given digit of the number is Armstrong or not. They can ask you to draw some pattern diagrams because from the pattern diagram they can easily get to know how the loops are working, how the function is getting iterated and so on. So these are the few basic programs you need to know. One foremost favorite question for every interviewer is like write a code for prime number to find the number is prime or not. So in that they checks multiple things like how you apply while loop, how you apply for loop, and whatsoever not is used, right? So always practice a few basic programs before you go to any interviewer. So let's move ahead to our next session or the next question which interviewer can ask you. That is like, what is compiler error? As I gave you the example, so you can define accordingly. You can prepare your set of question accordingly. Correct? So next question any interviewer can ask you is what is inheritance? So in inheritance, you can start by saying the definition of inheritance. Later, you can attach few examples of inheritance. Also, you can elaborate the types of inheritance. If you are into Java, you can give the example like why multiple inheritance is not supported in Java and what is implemented instead of multiple inheritance. So the next question, like whenever you tell this, you are giving next question to the interviewer, that is what is interface, correct? So you should know what is interface and what are the uses of it, and you should know the syntax or how it is implemented, correct? So that is the so next question what interviewer can ask you is like what are the abstract method, how to implement that in our code. The most foremost next interesting part would be to know what are collections, right? In collection there are different things like trees, hash table, linear expression, and whatnot. So collection is also one of the most important part whenever you give an interview. So be thorough with the collection topics, correct? So next question can be asked. So now I'll give you a few scenario-based questions. So how scenario-based questions are like? A few of them are like consider. there is a circle, and that circle is divided into four different sectors, equal sectors, correct? And in that sector, only one of the sector is giving stack overflow issue. Rest of three are not giving that error. So you are supposed to tell like what can be the error in the program. So you can define accordingly. Go Google it, find the answer, you will get easily. But in the interview, that will be tested like how you are good with logic handling, how you know the flow of code, correct? So this can be one of the toughest scenario based question. So let's move to the next question which can be asked is like consider there's a room. There's a room and there are four people. Four people need to paint that room, and using which method you are going to calculate like in how much time the room can be painted. So basically over here the interview is going to test you which method you are going to implement. The foremost method what he will be looking out is for multi-threading. Like using multi-threading you can calculate how much process time will be taken to complete this one task. So you should know what is multi-threading, how it is implemented in code. So multi-threading is also one of the favorite questions of the interviewers. Okay, so these are few technical or scenario based question that can be asked. So one type of question is also like they will show you one code, they will give you one program, and they without compiling it they will ask you what is the expected output from this program. If there is no output, that means there would be error in the program, then point out what would be the error. So this is one set of question that can be asked. Okay. So next question what can be asked is like, okay, so they will give you a program and they will ask you, I am going to pass so and so argument in this code and I'm going to change this few line to this few line. So what is expected to be happen over here? So that tricks and things you should understand, and you should be quick enough in the interview to give that answer accurately and leaving that impression on the interviewer, correct? So these are the few questions that can be asked scenario based. Other than this you have to be very thorough with your OOPS concept, because they ask you bundle of questions from OOPS, correct? uh, Start it like what is class, what is object, start from there and you will get to learn like what can be asked. Okay, so next question what can be asked is like what is parameterized constructor, what is non-parameterized constructor, what are construction, how the object is created. So these are few basic questions that can be asked to you guys. Other than this there are multiple questions around polymorphism, method overloading, method overriding. So be thorough with that concept. So next question would be like, what is synchronization? What are collection framework? Then what can be used instead of inheritance in so and so program? What can be used instead of encapsulation? What is different between encapsulation and data abstraction? So these are few basic questions, though important question for any interviewee to learn before going to any interview there are. Okay, so next question can be like a few generic questions like what exactly is Java? So these are generic questions are mainly for the newcomers, the fresher one. So they should know the basic more. Though experienced candidate should know basics plus with like the scenario question. Also few question revolves around what exactly you are working in, whatever domain you are in. So they will ask you what you have done best till now in your project, like in for the experienced candidate, what best you have given so far, what best you have developed. Okay, and for freshers they focus on the college or any project they have developed. So in our academic, we do have final projects. Plus, if you are with us, Eduonix, you should be having few different projects whenever you are learning any course with us, right? So you should be thorough with that project, and you should know in and out of that project, so you can explain that project to the interviewer. Okay, so these were the few things you need to know or you need to learn. This is one flow kind of a thing you can follow for any concept, and accordingly you can prepare your interview. So let's move ahead to our next topic, which is for non-technical questions. Yes, you heard me right. With technical question, any company, any industry, look out for the non-technical side of yours too. Like how good you are for the position, how beneficial you will be, how you can be an asset to any organization or for their company or for their current role, right? So equivalently, with technical, non-technical questions are equally important. Like you are good enough in technical, but you're not fit for the role, so you won't be selected for that particular interview, right? So what all questions in non-technical can come? So here are few example for it. Like first foremost question they ask is, tell me about yourself. Myself. So I have given you a quite good brief about it. Please check that and prepare your myself accordingly. Correct. So next question can be, what are your career goals now? Like how do you consider or see yourself in career perspective? So remember one thing, why employer asks this question. Employer asks this question if their current role which they are providing, the position they are providing is suitable for your career aspirations or not. So every time read out the job description thoroughly and understand what exactly they are looking out for, and prepare your answer accordingly. Correct. So next question which they ask is like, what are your strengths? So this is the chance where you can show your technical skill, like I am good at this and that, and you have to show how fit you are for this current position. Like for example, this job is for any developer, so give your answer accordingly. Like I am good in so and so, like these are my strengths, this traits my strength, right? So list down the few things which you feel like you are confident enough. So with this question, the next foremost question they ask is about, what are your weaknesses? So do remember, each and every person, you and I, everyone on this planet is not perfect, or everyone has their weakness. But how you are going to tell your weakness to your interviewer? Always remember, give a positive answer for that. Like, I am very perfectionist. I have the habit of being punctual to complete the task in that time frame which is defined. So this would be a weakness for you, but this is beneficial for them. So prepare your answer accordingly. Show your positiveness in as your weakness to any employer. Like whenever we say, um, I have that habit, like with me my team should grow. I look forward for, I am a team player and I want the growth of team is my growth. So give these answers which will make them to have confidence in you. Yes, this can be a good team player too. So these are the few tricks how you give answer to your non-technical questions. So apart from this, what non-technical question can be asked are like, okay, where do you see yourself after 5 years from here? So give a logical answer. Like here they want to see like how associated you both will be, like do you see for a long term journey with them. So always give your answer positively, stating yes, I see a long term relationship with this XYZ company, and I see myself as a leader after 5 like I can be a team leader after a 5 year. Like if you're a fresher, then you can say I can see myself as a senior associate in your company. So give logical answers. Do not go and say straightforwardly say I want to become CEO of this company in 5 years. So these are not correct answer for this question. So give your answer reasoningly correct. So next question they can ask you is like, why do we hire you? So give a positive reason like why they should hire you. What is the benefit of the company if they hire you? In this answer, you can say, I am very good asset to your company. I know X, Y, Z. Plus, I know ABC technical stuff which can be add on to your current role or the position you are offering. So prepare your answer accordingly. So yeah, there are few tricky questions they ask you like why are you looking out for change? What is the reason you are leaving your previous job? So here you are not going to tell like there don't show a red flag. I would say like tell that opportunities were less. Like I was on the same page for long term. So I am looking out for change. Do not give any bad impression about your previous company. They don't like that. They would rather see how good learner you are or how you calculate your growth. So give your answer accordingly. Correct? So next question they can ask you is like why we should hire you. So in this question, or why are you looking out for this job only, why you want this current organization to be your next organization, right? So give answer accordingly like why you are impressed with that company. Tell anything like if currently you are in service based company, tell them this is a product based company and I look forward to deal with product based company, and that was my dream to be in a product based company. So accordingly prepare your answer correct and give your answer smartly like how you can get that job. So yeah, these are few technical non-technical questions which can be asked to you. Apart from this, one more question they ask is like, do you have question for us? Do you want to know anything about it? So many people straightforwardly said like, no, I do not have any question to you. But interviewer always like to hear from you like you should have any question. So in this question you can show your interest in the current role. You can ask like how exactly is your workflow, how exactly the project states there, or what are the technical things you should learn before apart from your current knowledge, what extra you should learn before coming with you. So these are the few impression you put or you give to the interviewer like yes you are interested in them and you also want that job. So accordingly you can show your interest, and like this you can prepare your non-technical questions.